Everyone, last day of action, Tokyo 2025. Can you believe it? It's been an awesome championship so far. And first thing on track will be the women's 800-meter final. We're here to break it down, to watch, to see if we'll get something super special from Keely Hutchinson. Can the Kenyans pull up something and do something special? Lillian Odari could be on the podium. There's 3 Kenyan women there. It's going to be a wonderful thing. Can Hunter Bell do something? You just never know. This could be one of the 800-meter races for the ages. Looking forward to hanging out with you guys for the next couple of hours as we lock in and complete the championships. The decathlon for men, one event left. The javelin just wrapped up, and yeah, we're looking forward to that 1500 meters. This has been an interesting decathlon. A lot of big athletes, not completing the decathlon. It's one of those things. A lot of reprieve there as I'm looking at the track, and I'll just go straight to it. Hi, Sonia. Good morning to you. Hopefully, you're doing well. The United States are back in the men's 4x4 after beating Kenya earlier this morning or last night, depending if you're on this side of the world. So they're there. Additionally, South Africa had to make an attempt to run by themselves and to get into the 4x1 final. That didn't happen. They came up just short in terms of time, so that lane will be unoccupied in the final. And yeah, so we're looking forward to a number of things there. We have men's 5,000 meters, very unpredictable. I've been saying this year. We don't have the big guys like, morning dynamics. How you doing? Good morning. Guess everyone's excited for the final day. So yeah, no Joshua Cheptegei. A lot of the big athletes are out. So we just got to watch that and see. Have no idea. Then we have the 4x4 for women and for men and women, 1500 meters for decathlon, and the sprint relays and the championship. So right now on track, we're looking at the women's 800 meters. When Keely Hutchinson came back this season, and we weren't sure, right? We saw her twice, and she dropped some big times, 154. I remember talking to Tim Adams and others, and people are saying that Hutchinson is in such great shape, but you couldn't know until you see her, and she is out now, ready. Can she do something special? Miramore, who has not been doing well, this season by her standards, she looks good coming into to this final. Jessica Hull is there. Can Veru from Switzerland, she's having a breakout year. Is it possible for her to do something special? Dynamic says he's excited and sad. The world's finale, overall season finale as well. Yeah, it is. It's the end of the track and field season. I mean, there'll be that women's event there in New York. We'll watch that as well. But by and large, we're now at the very end. This is a new attempt for World Athletics to complete their season by having the major event as the culminating event. Yeah, we'll talk more about that. We're getting into the space now of looking at this 800 meters. Let's see what we get. Can Hutchinson push something and, dare I say, threaten the world record? I don't know. We'll see. We get to see what kind of spacing and splits. But Sarah Moore on my screen right now. Herta Kleka as well from the United States is in the final. Jessica Hull getting into this final after also being on the podium once more. I think that was Emmanuel Wanyoni there in the crowd with a Kenyan flag. I could be wrong. I just saw a quick flash there. But this 800 meters is going to be very exciting. Hopefully you guys are doing really well. Let's see what we get here. Yeah. I wonder if they'll go out. Will it be more tactical, or someone will start to push early? Oh yeah, there's Beatrice Chebet and Faith Kipyegon. So the Kenyan contingent are out strong. Bunch of Jamaican flags there too. A kind of serious look on both Mary Mora and Keely Hutchinson. World record is Jamila Katravalova at 153.28. Hutchinson has a 154.74 within her first race this season. I don't know what we'll get. It's off. Let's see what we get for the first 200 or so. I'll get a gauge of what kind of pace they're on. Vera is actually pushing it too, same as Miramora. Keely Hutchinson right there. Hunter Bell rather. Vera right there as well. 26, 24 there. So that's pretty decent. That's on the, 27 to 28 is really, it's not particularly blazing, but it's under 26. So it's decent. It's a good pace, I would say. Let's see what we get at 400 meters. This might be, oh, 55.73. Oh my God, that's quick. That's blazing right there. That is blazing. Let's see if they can maintain this up to 600 because this could be on interesting pace. If they're at 120s or so, let's see. At 600, let's see what we get at. Oh, they're off world record pace for sure. So they're like 125 at 6. You have to be like 123 or so, 123 and change to get to world record pace. So there's a push there. The two British athletes are moving now. It's 1-2 there. And here comes Lilian Odare, Vera. This is the podium I predicted. I thought there would be a Kenyan 1-2. But it's going to be a Kenyan who wins this. The Kenyan strike gold one more. 154.63. Lilian Odare there takes it. I had Keely Hutchinson, then Lillian, then Hunter Bell right after after I saw the semifinals. But the Kenyan struck in fine fashion, 154.62. That's more than honest. That is fantastic. That is a championship record. A big person. Hunter Bell actually passes Hutchinson there, 154.90. 154.91 for Keely Hutchinson. Probably just didn't have enough races in her Hutchinson in her sense this season. Validates my early, not that I had anything to do with this, but it validates the 3 women under 154. Gee, under 155 rather. Oh my God. But it validates the argument that I was making, and a lot of people in the sport were making, that Hunter Bell, despite being on the Olympic podium last year at 1500 meters, that going into the 800 meters this year would give her a better shot. The Kenyans have unlocked another one. These guys are outstanding. This is a Kenyan championship. There's no question about it. Adding to that collection of gold medals there, is this gold medal number 12? I have to check, but it may be 12. Four times, I believe, they've won this world championship here. The Kenyans go. Miramora was the defending champion. She hands it over to another Kenyan. Look, I can't believe this. I'm stunned, guys. That's elite running there from these women. Dynamic says Keely upset. 154. Wow. Paulette, a blessed morning. Same to you. Thank you for the greetings. Imagine that. I think this world record is in sight. I mean, in a few years' time, maybe next year, maybe on the circuit. Unbelievable. The Kenyans are going crazy right now. I have to see this one more time. In fact, I gotta send a message here. This is madness. I can't believe it. Yeah, it is next level right there, guys. Next level. The Brits must be going crazy. I think they wanted to go 1-2. Keely lost. Hey, Jared. Jared, objectively, I get what's greetings to you too. We'll get put that on screen in a second. It is outstanding there. Good to have objectivity back on. Keely lost. Jared. In the end, it's an interesting thing. I thought it was a foregone conclusion, but one of the interesting things that we have to take into consideration is she only ran 2 races before the championship. Championship is different. I don't know if at the end they will say it took it out in a direction. They pushed the times though. I mean, it's not like they didn't run 159, right? 154, right? That's ridiculous, you know? Yeah, that's true. You can't, yeah, that is true. Can't get mad when all three PB. That is true. Yeah, they pushed the pace the right way. I'm gonna try. Let me try to get those results up in a second. There, uh, I'm like stunned right now. Uh, I am literally stunned at how quick that is. I'm not even taking the context into to proper shape. I think what the Brits did was to push it the right way, but that extra gear from Odera was special. Yeah, it was extra there for was special there for Hunter Bell PB, right? Yeah, Hutchinson didn't PB, I think. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, but because Hutchinson had run that 154 earlier this first year as well this season. Ooh, 154.62, 154.90, 154.91. That's outstanding. And then Sierra Moore running 155.74, Herta Klicker 155.89. Let me put that on. I gotta put that up, guys. That is, look at those times. Vera runs a 156 and finishes 6. Miramore 157.10. Jessica Hall 157.30. If this is not a crazy 800 meters, I don't know what is. 8 women going on the 158. A few years ago, it would be like, it's look how great is it that people are going on the 2 minutes. This is next level stuff, I think. I think at the end of the day, we'll say it took a while to get back to the world record levels. Still has some work to do to go into 153s, but you wouldn't now put it past it. These 3 women here, I think Mo, if she were Nikolaev, if she was, I think Mo Nikolaev, I think that's how it is. If there was a seriousness again in terms of getting back to the levels, the future is bright. Audrey Vero to a special athlete, breakout year. Look at this. It's a different standard. This is a different standard. All in the games in the house. BBC so arrogantly ignored everyone else and wouldn't shut up about Keely, despite Adair running very, very well. Well done to Kenyan women sweep of the distant events. Yeah, the Kenyans came here and are going back to Nairobi and elsewhere with everything. Absolute domination there. It's a championships for the ages. Yeah. Oh, I haven't been following. Dynamic says, yeah, BBC didn't even show any love to. Uh, okay, they didn't. Huh. Well, that's how it is. I mean, a lot of us too fell into the trap. Believing it would be a foregone conclusion. Initially, I had a British 1-2 before the championships as an interesting surprise because I thought Hunter Bell would do something special. In the end, she did, but I didn't expect Keely to lose prior to the championships, right? We didn't know that, like in the sense that we just felt that she was in great shape. But once I saw the Kenyans and Lillian, I actually I'm happy about that too because I played the game and hopefully I get some good points because I missed a couple of the games this year from and I don't know why they don't put the relays in the pool for play, but that's a different story from World Athletics. Yeah. So I think let's see how much points I picked up there. Well, it's a combined 30 points, I guess. It depends how it works. But Adara there, Hunter Bell, and Hutchinson. Pretty good podium there. Yeah. Let's get back to some comments here. All in the game says 5,000 meters are gonna be on track now. They have Young Mills. I just say a couple. Oh, there's Good Ups, a guy in the crowd. So there's a lot of support from the athletes. I guess it's the end. So if you're done, you're done. You can come into the stadium. All in the game says a year too early for Vero. GB also has youngster Phoebe. Oh yeah, Phoebe Gill, and did she had surgery this year, or is it or was it a mental break? No, I can't remember for Phoebe, but she's very young too. I think she's gonna be, if they get it right, she's next level as well. So Phoebe Gill, who all in the game is saying he thinks maybe more talented than Keely. Yeah, that's the talk. Hopefully she gets there. Dynamic says ironic both 400 men and 800 championship records fell within a week. The Koch Crash world records are finally dropping. Now, yeah, that's a very good point. I did say I think I said it to Leighton the other night when we did a live, or maybe I was just talking to him when I was opining that it takes 40 years and change for women that we think to approach, for women to start approaching those things. So, which is good and also an indictment on the sport if we understand what's going on. All in the game says Miramore sacrificed herself for Adira, in my opinion. Interesting. I have to look at it again. But speaking of Miramore, I believe that this was a clutch run too, in the sense I just didn't see Miramore running anything this season that would give me hope that she would be in a world final. She was just very inconsistent, and now look at where she is right now. That's a big run there. Okay, so all in the games clarifying that Phoebe she had exams to get into university. Makes sense. Makes sense. All in the game says, as I expected, Let's Run literally spent more time yesterday glazing fourth place Shelby than the actual top three in the women's 5,000 game. Yeah, them, as you say, all of them are just the PR tank is big, man. That's all I have to say. I do hope we all in life get PR people like that. The USA guys here are like taking it out on the 5,000 meter. Let's see what we can make sense of here in the men's 5,000 meters. I don't know. Fischer is pushing it. I think Geberit now is actually making a move up. So it's Fischer and Nick Young right there. And Geberit kind of goes. Cole Hocker is kind of going back now, and others are coming through. This, I don't know where this is going in the sense that I'm all over the place here. Let's see what we get. We'll take a good check at 2,000, at 2K. to see what kind of pacing that we're working with right now. Approaching 1,000, approaching 1K in a second here. Yeah. This looks a bit slow. All right. Yeah, let's see. Okay, all in game likes accumulate kick in the 5K. Yeah, it could be good. I'm trying to remember what I ended up putting in the end. I was just like all over the place, and it's an unusual 5K. None of the, no chapter guy, none of those Ugandan guys, and then we lost some people that I thought could be interested as well. And these guys are going to a commercial break in the middle of the 5,000 meters. I feel like I don't want to even go again on NBC here, but look, just make Peacock run 100%, and then whatever you're doing on the other channels, you can put your commercial breaks. I don't really care, but why are you cutting away from the track? All right, let me get back to some of this. All in the game says US men trying to take it out like the US women did yesterday. Yeah, maybe someone is pushing that in their head. I don't know if it's gonna work. Yeah, we'll see. All in the game again. This means Kenya will have 4 women in every distance event in 2027 World Championships, as well as 4 men in the 800. It is true. It is true. And it's not like they don't have these people to put in the ranks, right? Certainly they'll find. We'll see the emergence of other athletes too, but the pipeline never dries up. But it's an absolute statement from the Kenyans. Absolute statement. There's no other way to put it. It's total domination from the road to the track, and with some all-time greats as well. People on their way to be all-time greats like Awanioni. Do we expect to see Faith around at the next World Championships? I don't know. That would be impressive if she went on to win another one. But what does she need to accomplish? So 2:34, I think, was at the first KM. I was trying to wait for that. So that is more than an honest pace for me. If there were like 2:38 or so, that would be anywhere from 2:38 is pretty decent. It's kind of warming up. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see how they do this. I guess at 3K. What I don't like is that I would love to see better pacing data in the live setup. At least the scrolling. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I doubt that all in the game. I feel that Faith has done everything she needs to. I would say like next year's a defining year again for her if she just wants to play around on the circuit and go after some records. She might try once more, and I don't know if she'll get it to break that mile record there. Go, sub. So Gabriel, their mate, is now taking the lead. Fisher, Young, and Mahari. Yeah, I think so. So I think there's some things they'll want to do with Fate, because I think Nike has this plan. They tried that thing in Paris, which turned out it didn't work. Maybe they'll do another drafting run. Maybe they'll do something. We'll see. And she could try the 3,000 again. It's pretty close. But after that, in terms of, there's nothing else to do. she's taken. I don't know if she take the 1500 to another level again. Perhaps maybe one more shot at it or so, because we'll see what happens there. But from a championship standpoint, the record is just outrageous. It's very unlikely people can get up to that in terms of the gold medals. The Olympic medals are secure to. The legacy is just tight. It's locked as the GOAT. It's going to take a very long time for anybody to do anything there. Let me get back to some more comments. Brian is saying Faith just ran a world record, so she's at her peak now. Thinks she can be there in 2020. That's a push, though. I don't doubt she can be there. What I wouldn't like to see, and I've said this a lot of times, but you don't get to decide. It's just it's this couch commentary, right? When you're these outstanding athletes, when you're the GOAT, when you're one of the very best, I don't like when you stick around when other people start to come into the mix that when you're in your prime or pump, they couldn't beat you and you start to lose to them. That's just my take. But clearly, athletes get to decide. It's depending on the drive, because to be at that elite level, you got to be pushing, you got to be working very hard. Did we get a 3,000? What was the 3,000-meter split here? I missed it. There's 4 laps left. I missed the 3,000-meter split there. But from the guess, it looks like it could be. When I looked at it, it was past it, so I don't know what the split was. So could she be there? Yeah. Will she be at the peak of her powers? I strongly doubt it. It gets really hard. If she still has the desire to run, I would say going on the road would be a better look. I don't think she wants money or lack for money, but imagine a Faith Kipyegon on the road. It would be stellar. It would draw crowds, and the road pays a lot of money. Yeah. The Dynamic says Mills limping at the back. I missed it. Eddie Jr. says we will see Kenyans running 44 lows regularly on the 400 by 20. Will we see? I don't know the answer to that. I think there's some work to be done from the 400 downwards, but they have a history in 400. You go back to the 1980s, the 1970s, early 90s too. Why they haven't done much more there? I think more work can be done on the sprint side as well. This is how you set up the program. All in the game, trying to win the Olympic gold at 34 and early would be tough. I definitely think that would be probably a push too far too. Yeah. All in the game says don't know what happened to Emmanuel Corey, who ran 44.2 and 142 P. Such a thought. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Either myself would have to look into that. Can see Kipiegan on the road by 27-28. Yeah. No, if she's on the road, look, the road is nice. Sifan Hassan is on the road already because she knows Sifan could be here. I think she could be in positions to get on a podium still. Probably definitely wouldn't win, but also could be outside of the podium. At some point, Sifan, Goodoff, all these guys, women and the men can get on the podium, on the road, So Inga Britzen is up there. Is he trying? And Kemeli, all in the game's favorite here, is moving. Belu also making a motoring here. I had some of those guys as potential podium guys too. But there's a big bunch of running here. It's going to be interesting as we head to the end here. I'm surprised Inga Britzen is making this fist there. So Camille there is moving to Inga Britzen. Balu Kipsang too. Let's see what we get for the last 400. They're at 12 or something now. This is decent pacing. And Mahari now starts to step. I don't know if he's going to do, if this is a bit too early. I don't know if Jakob can keep up with this. Where is Jakob now? He's bunched back in the end. Is that Gressier there coming through in the inside? Look at him. He's going to try to do a side run and come through now. Mahari, Kemele, Gressier. There's a push here. Is that Kolaka coming to take this from these guys? Unbelievable. Can he do it? This is a crazy thing. I didn't even have Haka on that podium, and look at this guy. 12:58:31. That's pretty good running. What's the last 400 there? It must be quick from him. Haka does this. Haka comes back with a level of revenge. Camille Gressier on the podium to Robinson. Mahari. 5 men under 13 minutes. That's pretty good. Hawker's like, I'm out in the 15. I'm back. Yeah, Mills just crossing the line at the end. I don't know what happened to Georgia Mills there. Kipsang out of it too. Gebret got run out. I thought so too all in the game. Mahari and Kimeli went too early. I don't know what that means, Ernesta. And here comes Haka. Yeah, he got dropped for sure. Jakob got dropped. That is interesting. He's checking a look at the camera, and Cole Hawker finds a way. Gressier here on another podium. Kimberly there getting on the podium. Where did the Belgium guys find this guy? Yeah, all in the game says he had Kimberly and Gressier on the program. I'm trying to check my play tactics again, what I did. Because I think I had Mahari on the podium too, just for fun. I guess I didn't get any points on that either. Let's see. I mean, after this, because I change my mind all the time after we get to these semifinals here. I don't remember what I played now. I know I think I had Gressier on it too. I think I had Kipsang, which was like a far out thing there. Yeah, I had Mahari and Gressier on the podium along with Kipsang, just for fun, but at least for Kipsang, I thought he could do something, but clearly no. I don't know how many people had Cole Ocker on their podium. I guess it's a revenge, right? Or not revenge, but make up for what happened in the 1500 meters. Yeah. Dynamic says Hawker just chilled, relaxed at the back, and started to make his move at the bell. No, he did. It was a really tactical race strategy in the end there for the American. Let me see if I can look. I want to look at the result to see if they have all the data up to. That's women. I want to see men's 5,000 meters. The final goes. It's not even up yet. These guys are jokers. It is up now. Let's see. So I hate how they do this. It's not really user friendly, but we look at that later. Thoughts on the USA back in the men's 4x4 final. When you go to a championship, you have to bring the very best people who can run your protest structure. You don't bring inexperience You got to bring a couple lawyers on the team too. They know how to get back into stuff, man. They really know how to get back into stuff. Trevor, you could argue, was a bit fresher and hungrier. Definitely on the hungrier side of things. Yeah, there is also a level of freshness there because you're out. You're supposed to push in the 15. You're one of the favorites for the 15 meters, 1500 meters. It didn't happen. And shout out to Cole Loughlin in a sense. He had to have a steely determination to say, I'm going to leave here with something. And not only leave here with something in an event that is not really speciality, right? He's not, I don't think Cole Hocker would consider Cole Hocker a 15.5 guy the way we looked at Jakob, I guess. But we do now. Yeah. Dynamic says, looks like it's starting to rain. It is raining there. Second championships in a row, we get a rainy 4x1 final. Paris last year and today. Yeah, it's a little bit of rain coming down there in the Tokyo night. Let's see what we'll get. Dynamic says USA 4x4 lineup is Norwood, McRae, Pattison, Benjamin. Oh, you were getting the live splits. I think the live splits were there, but it wasn't coming the way I wanted to see it. Like, I have to look down on it as opposed to like the Diamond League stuff looks better to me or than how they're doing this year. But they put the splits on the TV, but it's not. I don't like how they do it. Where am I? 4x4. I think we are on world record watch. The Botswanan team could potentially do this. Are we on world record watch for the women? Last year was a fabulous kind of push. That I don't know. I honestly don't know that. Let's see what's going on there for the women. How do they line up? Sydney anchors, Aliyah Butler on the third leg, Herbie Jackson, Bella Whitaker. It's a dangerous team there. Let's see. Knight comes in for McGregor for Jamaica. So it's Oakley, Williams, Knight, Nikisha Price on anchor. Poland looks good again. Bukovetska there. Swati Urchicic, they go 3-4 there. That's a good look. Femke Bol is on anchor. Lika Klaver on second there. This is going to be nice. It's like Femke on anchor. Sydney on anchor. They set this up in an interesting way. Yeah. Dynamics says women's 4x4 team last year was in better form individually. I think so. It would be I don't know if they can push the world record on the women's side. Last year was a special run in Paris, but you never know the kind of shape that Sydney seems to be in. If the other women can do something, maybe, but we'll have to see. It could be a bit of a stretch there. All in the game says Jamaica took Ranisha McGregor out as expected. Yeah, that needed to happen. Hopefully the Jamaicans can pull through and push for a podium run there. I think they have a good chance. It's not going to be easy, but we'll see what happens there. A lot of powerful athletes on anchor. Bukovetska, Price, Henrietta Jager also on anchor for Norway. It's an interesting kind of lineup that they're pushing right now. Dynamics says no world record watch. Want to see a world record. Want to see Botswana get that world record all in the game. Is saying, I think it's possible. The original BI Strong in the house says women's 4x1 should probably on a world record watch from USA. It's possible. I don't know. We'll see how the exchanges go. There's a little bit of a wetness there. Who knows what could happen? We'll we'll take a look at that. We'll assess that in a little bit too as we get closer. All in the Game also says Sid will be long gone by the time she gets the button. There's less parity in the women's 4x4 compared to the mix. She'll have I suspect we would think like a 5-meter lead by the time she gets it if things go to plan. I think Bella Whitaker will hand off really well. You know, can she get like a 50 flat on it, or even where she go to like 49 high? You never know. But it probably will be 50 something because they run a little bit longer there. But yeah, we'll see. Let me just look quickly on the men's side of the lineup too. That's gonna be really. Norwood, Patterson, McRae, Benjamin. The US are going with Kennedy. The Jamaicans are going with Kennedy, Powell, Dennis, McDonald. So nothing for. They didn't include Antonio Watson. Netherlands. So Tobago on second leg for Botswana says Epi, Tobago, Endori, and Kibinet Chepi. This is gonna be outrageous, Yeah. Original says, remember they ran 41.6 without Melissa. No, I'm not saying Melissa can't make a big difference, right? Yeah, I'm here to see it. I'm here to see it. It's, yeah, I hope the conditions are good. Uh, uh, I mean, to go sub 40, what's the word at 40.82? The exchanges have to be great. But we'll see. I'm checking in on the high jump final. Currently, it's Alice Lagas in the lead, it seems like, with let's see where that is. Let's get back on the high jump just quickly to give an update there. So Alice Lagas, she's unflappable so far, clearing every marker. Over 2 meters already from Nicola Alislagas. I have her winning this year. Yaroslava just doesn't seem like the Yaroslava that we are used to, but she could be in the mix. First failure at 2 meters for her as well. Topic there. Eleanor Patterson just failed at 2 meters as well. Good to see Topish back in action. I didn't have her doing much this year, but she's a super talent. I know they're moving to the high jump to give us a look at that as well. Let's see what Olaslaga's doing here. Did she go right in the book afterwards? She brushed it a little bit, but first over 2 meters here. That's almost a guaranteed podium look here from her. Almost a guaranteed podium now. I suspect that's one hand on the gold medal when you look at the series, but you never know. Yaroslava can come and do something big again, but she has to clear. She has a second attempt at 2 meters. All these other women have a second attempt as well. So we're getting into an interesting thing. Morgan Lake out at 193. That's so not close again to the British record for her. Yeah, it's pouring rain there. It seems like in Tokyo. Not sure what that means for quality running. That is certainly not so bad for the 4x4. 4x1 could be a problem. could be a problem here. I think the record is off now, if you ask me. Uh, GB ran 140, 169 in the rain with Desiree Henry. In the team, replaced her with Success Aduan, and they could surprise with great exchanges. I'm still thinking that too. I have them on a prickly surprise, but you just never know. Absolutely pouring down all in the game is saying. The original BI Strong says Botswana's men's 4x4 is supposed to be crazy. It is. It's a big, big, big team right there. Massive team. That's a world record watch team for sure. We'll see. On paper, they are really stacked. They should win this hands down. You don't know for sure if that happens, but we'll see. They may, but they have the ability to do it. World record has been around for a long time. I guess the world record was broken from the original one, but we all know what happened there with guys testing positive. So that world record is scratched, but it's the one. It's been on the books for a long time now. Someone, with high level athletes. So perhaps it's time. All in the game says hate that it's raining. It's tough. Hopefully it doesn't cause any undue problems, but it's part of the sport. But you hope it's not. That's when you're like jealous and you're like, we need a roof now. Look at that. The water on the track is like, no, yeah. There's no world record being run in the 4x4 either. Not on that kind of track. Yeah. They may have to do a break there. It's like a flood, but these guys are out there still. That looks like you need something to suck that water off the track. I mean, there's good drainage, but it's pelting down there. That looks more like like a build up there in lane 1. Yeah. It's more like swimming according to Trevor. Yeah, it's bad out there. Yeah, forget world records. Forget anything. Yeah. It's a monsoon according to all in the game. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if this 254-29 will go tonight now. We'll see. If that were to happen, it would even be extra special. Because you got them slippery hands. Someone will be singing in the rain. Yeah. Yeah. As all says, forget the world record talk. Yeah. This is to make sure you don't drop the baton. And if it continues like this, whatever happens to the 4x1 will be, I don't know. People will be all over the track. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully we don't get anything that's dangerous to the athletes, but it's coming down. LOL, the track is a swimming pool, according to the original BI Strong. Netherlands being introduced, the Jamaicans behind them. Can Jamaica stun and get on the podium? I don't think so. All in game says, gotta aim to have future world championships in the Southern Hemisphere location at this time. it's an interesting point from a number of perspectives to probably heat. It's more like yeah, a nice Brazilian uh world championships. Let's get something in South Africa. I don't know. We'll see. Original BI Strong says records are safe this year. Perhaps at some point we can start thinking about enclosed stadiums, but I don't know. That's only in a few places. It's pouring down there, but they're in the blocks. We'll enjoy it nonetheless. They're off now. Epi's already eating up the stagger there, so they're looking good. Ah, I see all in the game. We'll touch on that later. South Africa also motoring well too. Ibrahim from Qatar running well. Let's see who hands over first. It looks like Botswana or Botswana. I don't know. It's hard to see. Certainly not world record pace. You need about a 43 or so on a world record pace. I would say 43.9, 43.7 would work. The United States in the lead comfortably right now, but here comes Letsile Teboga, South Africa. The Jamaicans are hanging out in the back there with Powell. Letsile Teboga there right up on the... Is that Jacare Patterson? Yeah. Let's see if he can do anything special. Teboga is hunting down Patterson, but Patterson's going to hand over before... What is he coming? Teboga's coming. It's almost going to be like side by side. McRae has it. USA running well right so far. Okay, can Endor start making a move? They're side by side. Is that Wade Van Niekerk there with the baton? USA doing better than I thought they would. And Dory has work to do. Lots of work to do here. And Wade Van Niekerk is running a monster leg right here, guys. A monster leg. Rai Benjamin, Kibinet Chapi. The US is doing fast. This is what, 213 at 1200. That's not world record pace, but it's going to be really quick. So it's going to be Kibinet Chapi right there. And is that Nene? All in the game is saying Teboga not in 24 in 24 shape. That's certainly true. I don't know if Kibinet Chapi can run down. Can he run down Rai Benjamin? The answer to that is no. And South Africa, and look at this. They're coming. Nene's Kibinet Chapi is going to win it. Botswana win the gold medal. I didn't think he could run down Rai. I did not think he could run down Rai Benjamin. And that was the right move at the right time for Botswana. Kibinet Chapi in a rundown of the ages, a timing at the right time. And Botswana has just made history. $257.76. The United States with a stellar run to 257.83, and the South Africans there with a monster leg, I believe, on by Wade Van Niekerk. We have to see the splits in a second. 257.83. This is one of the, oh my God, 257.83, 257.83, both of them credited with the same time. That is the I thought that the South Africans were going to take it. First, it looked comfortable for Rai Benjamin. Look at that. McRae ran a monster leg too, I thought. McRae did we have to look at the splits, but just from the eye check there, he gave Benjamin a few meter lead there, a couple steps. Look at that. At this moment, you're like, Benjamin has it. And then it was like a Nene Kibinet Chappie. Look at that dip there. Look at that. Benjamin had such a big lead too. Who would have thought Rai Benjamin would get run down? He doesn't want to see a replay on this. He can't see a replay on this. How many of you would have thought that Rai Benjamin would get run down at that point? They got to find a bigger diamond out of Botswana to give these guys. Let me get to the comments here. Dynamics 416 says, I didn't. All in the game. Tiboga still had the fastest split despite not being in shape. I got to look at the splits in a second. Rai got walked down. My God, it is. I didn't see that. The original BI Strong with a bunch of flames going there. Nobody thought anyone could beat Rai. Anyone could beat Rai. Yeah. There is no way when you get Rai Benjamin. It wasn't like a 5 meter lead, it looked like in the end on the stretch. It could be, I mean, it's hard to do that measurement, but it was a few steps that you had to work to run down Rai Benjamin is different class. What a race there. This is better than USA not being in the final. All in the game with a bunch of yeses there. Botswana gets it. Will Kibinet Shepherd run down Rai. It's true. It happened. It happened. It looked likely, honestly. The gap seemed close. I didn't think Rai would get walked down. I figured Botswana would have won with a blowout lead. That's what I thought too. I thought they were going to move all out and push. I thought that by the time Rai had that in his hand, there was no way. But I have to give props to McRae there. Patterson ran a really good leg as well. Yeah. All in the game is like expect all the excuses from the US. Hey. I'm gonna look at this results a little bit more closely as well too, because it's unbelievable right now. Let's see what I can see here. Yeah, Cole Hawker being interviewed. I have no idea what he's saying because I'm not even listening to it. Let's look at this 4x4 again. Why am I looking at morning session? The women there, it looks like the rain is not as heavy, or maybe it's just the angle of my thing. They're still looking wet though, but I gotta look at this 4x4 again, man. Outstanding. So 257.83, 257.83 for the South Africa too. I don't even know where other people finished, to be honest with you. Belgium in fourth, Qatar fifth, Great Britain sixth, Jamaica 7. Yeah, I gotta watch it again to see. Yeah, I'm watching on Peacock, yeah. Which is apparently on technically CNB. It's on CNBC too as well, but it's the same thing they're showing on both, unless they took away the world feed at some point. Yeah. Dynamic says the BBC said the Americans were tired. What? These guys are fools. Do they not know? None of uh uh whatever excuse they want to make, I don't really care. It was a race for the ages, and I'm happy they're there too because they can't. There's no argument to be made. USA almost finished third. Botswana and South Africa are here to play. Yeah, imagine that. What was Wade's split? Let's see. I'll look at it again. I gotta move this because I can't see this. So put that back up again, production. Rye had a 44.4. It was a 44.6 for Macrae. Norwood was 44.6. What did it? Let me see the the Botswana guys. Let's see, he had a 44.05. Yeah, it didn't even look that way, right? Yeah, but at the end, let's see, he ran a really good run. Yeah, that's a good run from him. Can't complain. And the South Africa guys there too. Yeah, that was good running. Let me get back to some comments. I don't want to miss out on that. All in the game, so that was stupid. All the Americans were fresh. Yeah, I don't even know what's going on over there. I haven't seen any British coverage. Who's in studio? Who replaced Michael Johnson in studio? I saw they had Jenny Meadows there. I saw something there, but I haven't seen who is on British TV. Is Donovan Bailey on Canadian TV? I mean, these guys are sponging up the track. What? Look at that machine right there. They need one on a on a on a golf cart. They're trying to clean up lane one, which is usually the problematic lane too, because things get piled up over there with the drainage. Brian says South Africa is the only one they didn't post the splits for. Jamaica's women lineup is out. Shelley and Fraser Price, Clayton, Smith. So no Jackson. All in the game is harsh. Jenny Meadows is clueless, always states the obvious and can't pronounce anyone's name. I'll hold my hands up on the pronunciation stuff too. It's always difficult to get these things, but they have production teams. They should have people telling them stuff. I like when the Olympics had the pronunciation thing. You could go listen to it. If it's on World Athletics, I haven't seen it this year. About a closed 400 stadium, why didn't they have those for indoor season? It wouldn't be too expensive to heat through the winter. I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, probably. I don't know. So, but all in games, there's a diamond league in a closed stadium. Like you have to, you just need a stadium with a roof, but it's increasingly expensive to do that stuff. But roof is good. If you had a roof, you could potentially close, but I don't know if you can close all the way. Sometimes they do the roof thing, and it's like just for the fans, right, and not necessarily. Yeah. Well, anyway, we'll get back to this. All in the game says a good thing US men ran and got we beat fair and square. No, I think that's a good point because they would be commenting all day and the storylines would be all the way until we get to the next World Championships. But you gotta love this for Botswana, South Africa too. Yeah. The Jamaicans here, can they get on the podium? Can they get on this podium? Sydney Butler, Herbie Jackson, and Bella Whitaker. I like this Polish team. I like moving from Sverte Ercitic to Vukovetskia. Yeah. The Poles always come with a good lineup too. What happens in the first leg, we'll have to see. Italians are there. You know, the Italians are showing up a lot in these championships, and we've been seeing it for a while. We'll see what's going on after that. All in the Game says a procession by US women. Possibly, I think so too. Unless there's some mishap, I just can't see. I think by the time, let's put it this way: if Sydney doesn't get this with a sizable lead, then it's more competitive than we expect it to be. But it should be a walk in the park. Yeah, it should be a walk in the park. And so I'm expecting, like, if it's a competitive race, perhaps by the time Femke gets it, she has to do some work to put the Dutch back in medal contention. But it may not have to be. They're off and running. Let's see what we get there. So the Netherlands are pushing. That looks like a good run by the Jamaicans too, making up a little bit of a stagger, but it's kind of hard to see. We'll get a sense there. Yeah. Salberg there looks like she's slowing down a bit. There's a good run there from Jamaica right there. Really good run. But Whitaker is also running really well too. Let's see. Let's see who hands over first. I think the US might hand over first. Yeah, then Jamaica. Then might be Netherlands. I don't know. So Herbie Jacks is making a move already. She's already opening up a lead on Williams from Jamaica. Oh, that is a massive lead already. Let's see if she can come back in. They're all making that beeline down to lane one. Stacey and Williams also pushing there, but it's also a sizable lead. That's Lika Klaver right behind there with another big lead. So the Jamaicans are in a good position. If Stacey and Williams can pick this up again and hand over, they will be certainly putting the Jamaicans into a really good position for a medal. Lika Klaver is stepping right now, but Herbie Jackson's opening this up like you never believe. 50-12 there so far from one split coming through. So it's the US, Jamaica, the Netherlands right behind there. Herbie Jackson at a 48-7 there. Oh my God, it's over. So Knight there now. Let's see what Knight can do on this leg. This is the leg that they replaced McGregor for. The White also making a move. But it's USA with a big lead. I think Jamaica has the same type of lead in second and third visually. Yeah, so it's a K-Watt now. Come on, Jamaica. They have to make a bigger run there because you don't want to put Femke into a pole position here. I don't know if Femke can run down Nikisha Price here, perhaps. But Sydney's gone. It's like a country mile. Femke is actually stepping on Nikisha Price right now. But I hope Price just runs a good race there. There's no catching. You can't run down Sydney. Just hold your thing. There's a lot of work that Femke has to do. I don't think she can actually catch it. I think it's going to be a US, Jamaica, and Netherlands. And it's going to be, yeah, there's nothing Femke can do here either. Absolutely nothing. Look at the lead. Sydney's opening up the gap on Nikisha Price. It's going to be 3:16.62, a big win there for the United States. The Jamaicans get a silver medal, a really good performance. And, oh, it's a championship record, is it? That is pretty good running there. I didn't even realize that it was that fast. Season best for Jamaica, 3:19.25, 3:20.18 for the Netherlands. But it's no competition. It's an impressive performance by the United States. It's just that it's a massive blowout, as Dynamic is saying. A blowout, bye-bye FMK, just isn't the same parity to make it interesting. Already looks over. It is random stuff. Don't count out FMK and the Dutch. I don't think that, well, and in the end, they couldn't come back into this. The Dutch team is basically Lika Klava and Femke, to be honest with you. Yeah. Fire from the original BI Strong. Jamaica medals in the Jamaica in the 400 medals. Order has been restored, Trevor says. The Netherlands are nowhere as deep. This isn't the same victory by to the thumping your chest about. Netherlands like literally had only 2 sub-50 quarter milers. Yeah. Objectivity side, Jamaica. Wow, that's a good run for Jamaica. The women come back in fine fashion there. I like it. You know, they're always there. So in the end, we shouldn't necessarily be surprised. The original BI Strong says Bowl was never gonna catch Price. No way with that lead. Yeah, it was never gonna happen. And if she tried to push it, and I like what Price just ran it. She couldn't go anywhere close to Sydney. It's not a competition. So you just run, you conserve, and you run it tactical. And then, if necessarily, you'd sprint. Just sprint on. You push everything you have on the home stretch. There's nothing there. Facts, Trevor says. Objectivity. Sydney's like a gazelle that hunts the lion. She's a different class. So I love the championships for Sydney. Sydney split 47-8. Edin Jr. just pointed out. The original BI Strong, that was a proper running order by Jamaica. Shout out to the coaches as well. Certainly, that is good. You won a couple. I think Dejanay Oakley, great future. Stacey Williams this year, did well. That's a massive lead that Price had on Femke. I don't care who you are, you can't catch that. No one was catching that. Yeah. Because Price starts to extend again. Sydney's like really strong on the home stretch. It's 3 different races happening. Sizable win there from Jamaica over Bowl and Bowl over the rest. All in the game, CTS Magazine have somehow managed to spin US men getting walked down on a social media post. I got to look at that because these guys are over there acting crazy. They're literally acting crazy. I haven't been on the social media obviously because we've been on lives, but I don't know what they're doing. Now you make me want to see this. Have they updated? All I saw was they have something about closing like a freight train for what did they say about US? Another dramatic outcome after squeaking into the final. A brand new foursome carries Team USA to World Championships 4x4 silver. Just to sound like AI wrote that. Anyway, it's whatever, it's a fabulous performance by Botswana. Yeah. And yeah, after the gout thing, I'm done with them either too. Did they even take it down or apologize? I never went to check to see. Yeah. Trevor says, interestingly, the Dutch have been running a kind of charade with the 400 medley. I guess you mean the mix in the last few years to the previous. Okay, comment this point. I mean, the Dutch, they're on the podium. You can't complain about that, but it's not the same team that they're not high level enough to be competitive in the space. And Clava isn't is I don't think Clava is past her prime to I don't know if she's past her prime, but she's not in the same in inconsistently 49 shape or anything like that. So it requires more work to do. They're not going to be competitive here. Yeah, not in the 4x4. Yeah, and the US is just too good. You know? Yeah, the I agree that the Goat thing stuff was outrageous. Trevor says it's like the Dutch emperor who has no clothes, only bowl, and I guess you mean Clava. Yeah. Oh, they eventually took down the God. That is good. I'm happy they did that. I mean, I suppose they'll explain it away. It's going to be a naive poster doing it. Uh, you meant to tape the relays. You still. I yeah. As I guess you mean like recorded on things. You know, I still had the whole Olympics from when was it? From London still on my Xfinity thing, but I switched over from them a couple of years, and it's my second year now. I went strictly fiber optic, so I changed over all my things. So I lost all of that stuff. But back in the old days, I used to have everything on cassette on all. I still think I have like at my there's stuff back home in Jamaica too, like on a bunch of tapes that I've not seen since the 90s, I think. Yeah. Sports Talk Tech says remember to hit the like button if you're enjoying the screen. Trevor said, what did they say about Go? It's distasteful. It was I don't want to repeat it. It was they made fun of him not advancing, and he's a 17-year-old kid, like and then they made a really magnanimous post about Cooper Lockton House, which is the 800 guy for them. Who they didn't make any fun of him either. So, which they shouldn't have either, right? And they shouldn't have done for God. Dynamics of 72 people watching stream. Please like and comment. Appreciate that. And all in the game also pointing out they made fun of God not making the 200 final, but were suspiciously quiet about Cooper Lockton House not making it out of round one of the 800. Typical, yeah. It is what a championship so far. I'm trying to think about like what's the great moments. We'll do some lives. I know Leighton and I want to do a big recap. It may not happen today. I think I'll try to push it for tomorrow night, hopefully. And then I still have to think about all the great performances of this championship in different ways, right? I think Ryan Krause is a big standout for me too, just to like pop up and win. It's good to see Ulamar back getting on a podium. Sydney, Paulino, and Salwa in that run was outstanding. I guess Botswana take over in 400 too. There's a lot of stuff. Kenya, I think Kenya is the team of the tournament for me. Outrageously blocking out all those medals. Yeah, so many things. We'll think about it. Allingham says, I hope Ulamar can get back to 15 meters with more competition. You hope to, for her to even to be at this level without any kind of formal high elite competition is outstanding. They'll take this, and next year they'll try, and she can pick and choose. I think she'll get into better shape and maybe wrap it up and maybe get back to 15 meters. I now think the world record is out of her reach again. A few years ago, we thought she was going to break different barriers, but who knows? We'll see. Trevor says Botswana hosting World Relays next year. Ah, they are. Yeah, I forgot about that. That should be exciting. Botswana's track and field taking off for sure. Dynamics men's 4x1 lineup: Coleman, Bednarak, Lindsay, Lyles. Objectivity says I'm extremely biased, but Tina Silva may be most outstanding performance. It's a big performance for sure. I don't. Yeah, this is the great thing about judging these things is that it has to resonate with you as well. There's no right or wrong answer here. I mean, I guess we can make claims for like maybe the single best performance, and we could argue around it. I don't know. I think also for Oblique getting on the podium is a big deal. I think it's a heartening performance too because talent caught up to expected. He finally delivered, so he walks away there. Yeah, lots of interesting stuff. Simba says they robbed South Africa the silver medal. What was the difference in the split? I have to look at it. All in the game, Wade apparently split a low to mid 43s. It wouldn't shock me. He was blazing the track, and it's good to see. Part of me feels like Wade should still run the 400 meters. I don't get this flirtation with the 200. All in the game, enjoy a 21-year-old Kibinet Sheppy running 43.53, top 10 all time. Yeah, that was also special. Botswana themselves getting 3 men into the final. What can we say? Okay, so it's 0.002. Civil goal for me, BI strong. Who asks about the robbings? Simba. I can't get into those arguments because I generally feel they don't rob anybody. So those cameras are really high efficient. They're 10,000 frames a second, 20. They can go up to 20. You never know. Sometimes there are experimental cameras out there when they improve. So they do a really good job on these photo finish things. I often say the bigger challenges, and this is a challenge. I'm going to go on my soapbox again because I've always said this. What you really need to ask is whether the way we separate athletes by thousands of a second is Gabar there is running hard. So back to the point. You should really be asking if it's acceptable for us to separate athletes by that level, right? At what point is it that high, right? And that's the kind of cultural part of sport because it's not scientific, right? We could go down as scientific as we want, and as the cameras improve, we can do a lot of things. This is the end of the 1500 meters here. Is he gonna lose? This is the final here of the decathlon standard. Garland is still moving here. We're working down on the last of this decathlon. But yeah, to finish that point, I think the bigger challenge is whether what we accept as difference in sport, right? Horse racing does something different than athletics, or so I don't go on that soapbox of that they rob people. It's I don't think so. I don't generally think that's the case. Knowing how those cameras work. Where am I in the comments? So the convenient couldn't separate, right? So you guys are interesting here. Oh, so you're saying because they don't split analysis, that should tell you something. I don't know. Maybe it's just a I don't know. I will have to see. So it's 8804 for Nogabar. Owens Delamer. Oh, they took it off the screen again. I have to look at it. All in the game. Biglia about to win his first goal, and he did. Did Garland secure the third place there? I can't see this. I have to. It's a big day for Big Leo for sure, because the way in which this thing happened here in the decathlon is interesting. We lost a lot of athletes before the competition and during the competition, and it's a grueling 15 event, and Leonor Gabor found his way. I mean, even yesterday I was pleasantly surprised by O'Connor there from Ireland getting on the podium, the Americans splitting the medals between them, Anna Hall and Brooks. I want to see this again. Let's get the full details on the decathlon. I think these guys don't do it. Anyway, I'll get back to that. Oh, the original song said, I've been watching since the 80s and I can't remember USA ever being on the losing end of a tie. All in game was saying it's like 0.002. The reason, Objective said, the reason I don't trust photo finishes, they come from the back groups and mostly favor one country. Trevor says he fully believes Kishan won last year. The problem with believing that, though, Trevor, is that you can't see it. You see? So the way you think you see it on TV is not how you can see it, right? And that's the trouble. So what you think you see on TV is not what you're really seeing, right? Because the television cameras are not going as that far. They don't have enough frames per second to do what the photo finish cameras can do. And also your eyes can only process like 50 to 60 maximum, or 70, So after that, it's going to be blurry for us. So because it's that type, the separation can only happen by constructing a photo finish. And we're kind of looking at a finish. So when they stop that on television, we're looking at a photo of the finish, which is different from a photo finish, which I know you know. So it's like it requires an individual mapping up of that. And yeah, I don't. My problem is not a photo. I don't have a problem with the photo finish. I keep saying this. I think I'm fine with that stuff. I don't like that we separate that closely, because there's no appreciable difference between 2,000ths of a second. Like you just cannot see that with the naked eye. So in those cases, like what I'm not particularly sure we need to break down the thing like that. We can just shear medals then, right? But this is how the sport of track and field has evolved, so we just go with it. Dynamics is 2 more events to go. Let's close out 2025 World Strong. No baton slips. Hopefully that's the case. All in the game topic going well in the high jump. Let's get back. I need to see the high jump here because I'm not seeing what's going on. Let's get some result on the high jump in a second. What's going on in the discus as well? I'm gonna. I really hate this World Athletics website. So the men's discus is going on. I want to see what's the result there. Let me just take a quick check on that. Oh, nothing. Oh, nothing is going on in discus. I think it's because it's wet out there. Sorry, I should have known better. Uh, and for high jump right now, Olislaga still at 2. Topics is what in third position. She's failed at all 3 attempts at at 3. Yaroslava passed at 2, or second at 2, right? So she has to go to 202. And the Polish athlete Zodic, I don't know how if I'm pronouncing that correctly, is still in there. So Trevor says this I get, but they always seem to default to the more powerful countries. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I actually don't know the answer to that. I feel like we see the controversial ones and we look that way, but we'll have to take a whole breath of like every photo finish separation from heats to finals, right? And to have a better sense. All in the game says Decathlon podium was the NCAA Decathlon podium from 22. Oh, it is. It is. Let's see. And that is a big. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't realize that. Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah. Original says when USA mess up in the relay, they get to rerun and not make it out. Obviously, they let South Africa and Kenya rerun with them today. Kimani says, "What's up, Kimani? One more medal for double digits. You hope. You hope. Let's hope that it comes around cleanly." Sid is so zen-like. I mean, Sid is just. We've never will see the like, so we should just bask and appreciate that we've seen her develop from all those years. I can't recall the first time you guys saw Sid. I think the first time I ever saw Sid was a pen relay run. At least that's when you notice her. And she's never disappointed since. It's been one of those things. Putting complete trust in the hands of people that have reasons to be untrustworthy is like asking the fox to monitor the hen house. You're on it this morning, objectivity. I want your coffee this morning. Trevor says, interestingly, how many of the world's athletes went through the NCAA system. It is. It's the gateway to track and field. The NCAA system is, for whatever people complain about it, it's been an opportunity for decades to not only provide professional athletics, but to give opportunity to many people to get an education if they take it seriously. And a lot of people use that as an avenue to do sport, but also to get to the next level. Yeah, it's been doing it forever. On the game says gonna be so many mishaps in the 400. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. It's possible. I hate it. TT Terry's being washed off here like she's in a shower. Shakar is like, I can barely open my eyes. The rain is coming down. This is not a good look in terms of how you want to finish a sprint championship. But everybody's faced with the same condition, so that's the only saving grace here. Look at Spain, best two on the second leg. Perez anchors Sevilla there on third. The Great Chilean Fraser Prize starts off at Jamaica. It's gonna be a Clayton to John L. Smith. Tina Clayton there and our hands are wet. This is dangerous. I think it's dangerous, but we have to do it. Everyone has to do it. Right now, they needed to be like the NFL quarterback people or the wide receiver, a little rag in the back pocket, you know? I know they can't do it. Virginia, how are you? I don't understand why Sharika is off the relay. I don't know either. I should have asked, and I didn't because I'm on the live. Maybe she felt something. I don't know. I'll see. I don't know if I get a reason, but maybe people watching Jamaica TV might know. I don't know if they know. All in the game again. So many mishaps. He's like, you're speaking this into existence. We shouldn't do this, but I know what you're saying. Virginia says true. Sharika must be sore from the rounds. It's possible. I'm trying to get an answer. I'll see. There's a suspicion of injury. This is yeah, that's what I got. I don't know when they'll finish the discuss. They probably have to wait till tomorrow. Because they can't do the discuss in a wet sector. This is just not happening. I'm surprised the high jump is even going through, you know. All right, let's see what we get here. So they're off and running. So far, so good. Melissa Jefferson's motor in there. Fraser Price running well. Jamaica hands the baton off her first, and Tina Clayton is in the lead, it looks like. And she's trying to adjust the baton, it looks like. One sister to her next sister, and they have it. But it looks like Spain is in the lead. Is that Spain in the lead? And Jamaica is coming around there. I don't know if Smith can outrun Sha'Carri. It's side by side. Sha'Carri has that. Janelle Smith moving, and Spain is coming there. It's going to be Jamaica. Ooh, it's going to be Sha'Carri to Jamaica. 46-76. The USA wins this. 41 rather, 75. Jamaica coming in second in 41-79. It was Germany closing. Who saw that coming? Jamaica seemed to have a little interesting exchange there, and they could have probably pulled it off. Where did Germany come from, guys? GB finishing in fourth. Spain in fifth. I missed all of that. I got to see it again. All in the game is saying, don't run Nita. That's true. The great Chilean Fraser Price leaves the scene with a medal. The same way she started, the same way she finished. It could have been gold. It was very close. And Smith was closing too. A little cleaner exchange there. I have to see the exchange from Clayton to Smith. It didn't look fabulous from my angle, but it's hard to know. It's just, we'll see. Lots of stuff in the comments going on here. Brian says the outside lanes have water. Yeah, there's been a lot of water on the track. Dynamic says, damn, Jamaica, bad exchanges. Jamaica is second. Original with a bunch of fire. How can we watch a full race? It depends on where you are. I don't know. Chilean had a really good leg there. I want to see it again. It looked good from a perspective. And Clayton had a good amount on TT Terry there. Kayla White ran a really good anchor, a good third, but she's also switching the baton there. Oh yeah, it wasn't clean enough from Clayton to Smith. But even the adjustment there that White made was interesting to get it to Sha'Carri. That could have fell out, so that's good. But look at the German athlete there motoring down. And how does Daryl Nita not run better than that? All in the game. You've been calling this all season. I got to give you props for this. So the US see all in the games and been saying all year, especially after the semis, that Nita should run third and success everyone should anchor. Well, they didn't. Original, what an anchor. She ran Shakari down. Shelly ran good. No, Shelly, let me tell you something. As Shelly and Fraser Price said, well, even when she was in her prime, she'll run anywhere on a relay team. And so she did. It's good. I'm very happy for her, for Fraser Price to leave with a medal. It's what you want, right? It's a good look. Trevor says Janelle actually closed down. Yeah. No, I think the Jamaicans were looking good. I think it's the exchanges too. I agree with everybody saying that too, that it wasn't a clean handover to Smith. It could have been better. It was clean in the sense that the exchange was made, but it wasn't smooth. That's the better word. Also, if you look at what was Kayla White shift the baton to, that could have been dangerous there to get it to Richardson. But that lead evaporated on the exchanges, and it's the kind of thing we've always said about relays. You want better exchanges. I have to look at it again to give up a proper look. But the Jamaicans getting on the podium is big deal. The Brits, they should have been on the podium when you think about how well they ran the season, but it didn't happen. Shout out to the Germans. Virginia says the last leg for Jamaica did great. Yeah, Smith there ran really well. The original BI strong, good good handoff on the anchor, and we could have won. Good race. No, I think that's where he lost the race. I think on the backstretch it looked like they had Clayton made up a lead there. The exchange to her sister wasn't the best either, but it happened. Trevor says water and war could be the issue. Heat of battle and control chaos could cause that. Yeah. Yeah. That's a yeah. I'll look at the results one more time. Okay. Yeah, so the suspicion is an injury for Jackson. It wasn't immediately clear, but that's what I'm getting. I don't know if they have announced anything. So 41.75, 41.79, pretty close. So high jump is suspended. The discus is gone. I don't know if they'll get it back today. I don't know what's the forecast for the rest of the night there. They may have to come back tomorrow. Let me get back to some comments that I missed. Appreciate everybody coming through. Objectivity says, happy for silver. Had to catch my breath. Yeah, it's good to be on the podium. You want to see that. But you feel a bit like there was more there. There's certainly more there because they were in the race exchanges, but it's one of those things. Dynamic says he's watching the slow mo replay, second and third exchanges, very sloppy for Team Jamaica. It kind of looked that way from the naked eye. How quickly things change. GB went from being the only team to medal in all 5 relays in Paris to not medaling at all in Tokyo a year later. Very, 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 very interesting. Don't know what that how do we unpack that? We can unpack that in different ways. It could be an off year for them. It could be the rest of the world caught up really fast. It's the competition is moving in interesting ways. But in fairness, we wouldn't have thought that they wouldn't medal here. They look like they had a good chance, and the men had a big snafu yesterday, which I think you would point out you saw coming every time they put that guy on the ankle leg. But it's one of those things. Shelley split faster than MJW. Is that confirmed? I don't know. Are you telling me that, or you're the originals? The original BI Strong said, "Oh, we had two bad handoffs. It could go." Yep. Shelley split faster. Okay, interesting. Wolf says the difference between Jamaica and the world is the fashion in which we do track and field. None like us, fine style every time when we even when we lose. Interesting. I was about to talk about something else there. I thought you were going in a different direction because administratively there is a lot to be desired. You can imagine there's an performance in overperforming in terms of just how well they're managed despite structural issues, but that's on a different day. Trevor says GB going terribly medal wise. And I think this is fitting. Thank you so much, Shelley and Fraser Price. What a career. That's a really fitting comment there. It is. It's been one of the great careers. It's going to be very difficult for people to replicate that. And but she's been a great servant to the sport of track and field, not only to Jamaica but to the entire sport, an inspiration for all. Couldn't happen to nicer people. Nita seems to be regressing badly. Objectivity. So happy for Janelle. She's been even better. She'll be even better next year if she does the work. No, Janelle has a lot of talent. It's been interesting kind of a career. Hopefully she's good. Splits in the hundreds are in. I'll take a look at that afterwards. Or if you want to share it, it's fine. I'll just read it out. I'm going to watch this race. Could see from months ago, Nita wasn't in shape to anchor. How does the coach not see this? That's a good question because she wasn't in great shape for sure. Yeah, the setup there was interesting. So the men's 4x1 here. The Ghanaians did well. You can never count out the Canadians. They're always there. You suspect the US should do this if they get the stick around. Unfortunate the Jamaicans aren't there. That would have been a really good race to watch. But it happens. You could see that in the 200 she was looking good. She wasn't looking good. That's Sharika. Yeah. No, she had some issues, and Ghana might be a problem. Trevor Fax, can we talk about Jamaica's kit on a yearly basis? The people look so good on the track. I don't know about I don't know how about the fashion stuff on the track, but I'll take your word for it. That's probably a relationship with Puma. They figured that out. The 100-meter splits are all messed up. They got the wrong people in the wrong order for the US and Jamaica. Okay. I was trying to say I don't pay too much attention to the split stuff. Is kind of funny from time to time, right? You because they're all over the place. Yeah, because Yeah, and all in the game is also pointing. They're notoriously unreliable. Yeah. All right, let's see. Is the rain still pelting? It doesn't look that way, but it could be an angle. Yeah. Oh, it is still raining. Yeah. The USA's lane looks completely dry though, so that's uh yeah. Yeah, I guess it's like one of those things we want to do all in the game. Yeah. Yeah. All right. It looks like Coleman is making up a lead on the stagger here. Canada doesn't get it. That's a late exchange, but they do get it. So lovely pass there. The USA is in a commanding lead. It seems like they're gonna win this. But there's that pass wasn't the best, but I think Lyles is gonna get it ahead. DeGrasse has it now, but Lyles already has it, and he's not. It's not gonna be a competition. He's gonna open up on Andre DeGrasse. He's opening up. The US wins this comfortably. 37-30. Canada gets the silver medal, and I think that's the Netherlands. 37-29 for the United States. Canada 37-35. And the Dutch find a way on the podium 37-81. Ghana 37-93. Noah Lyles finishing with 2 gold medals. Pretty quick, especially for the conditions. The Canadians would probably not be happy with their passing. I'll have to see it again, but by their standard, it's not great. Great win for Botswana. Perfectly timing stride and dip for 4x4, we'll say. The original, I think many people think each person run exactly 100 meters. Yeah. And it doesn't happen that way. Yeah. That's the problem in the splits. It's not everybody running the same length. I guess Noah is getting hugs from the German women. That's a kind of nonchalant hug there from Kung Fu Kenny to Melissa Jefferson. She was more ecstatic. He's like, "Don't hug me." I'm not saying he said that. It didn't look the best. Coleman to Kung Fu Kenny. That's good. It's probably delayed, but it's good. A nice pass there from the Netherlands. At least it looked that way. The pass to Courtney Lindsay. Let's see. It's fishing around. He had to look around. That was a terrible pass, but it happened. I think there's a delayed one there too for Canada. I don't think they would have loved that. But it's no competition. Extra high knees from Lyles. Almost overdoing the high knees, I think. But he was pumping. All in the game. Both 4x1s are a little anticlimactic. Kind of feels that way, but it's in the rain. We get what we get. Yeah. So the USA takes the sprint relays. They take the women's 4x4 on a canter. The 4x1 for men was much easier than the 4x1 for women. That was much closer. The Jamaicans were really in it, better passing, and it could have been a different story. But congratulations to the United States there. Botswana, I didn't believe they could have run down Rai Benjamin. That's the relay of the evening. Because if you most of us thought Botswana would win, I thought so. Getting by the time we got in there, when you look at what happened, but I didn't expect the US to be leading on the home stretch, and they got in. Yeah, Ghana was very close to, yes, Virginia. It's tough. Yeah. So, oh yeah, shout out to Melissa Jefferson Wood. No, we have to say it in she's now done something that only Shelley and Fraser Price has done at the World Championships, the triple sprint. I'll get back to Melissa Jefferson. So 26 medals for the US, 11 for Kenya, 10 for Jamaica, Italy 7. I think Jamaica probably got more medals than many people predicted going into the championships too, and it could have been more too. Yeah, but back to Jefferson again. Congratulations to her, the woman from Georgetown, South Carolina. She came into this championship expected to win the 100 meters, undefeated season, won the 200 meters, very comfortable win there for her. 8th fastest time of all time. And she played her part in securing a 4x1 victory for the United States. Gives her 3 gold medals. The last time and only time it's ever been done at the World Championships was the great Shelley and Fraser Price. Elite company. Her career is now moving in a way she should be proud of. Backed up by that performance last year, getting on the podium in Paris. She's now the standard. She's the one that everyone will chase and reshape their programs and whoever they decide to put on their walls, their weekly affirmations, whatever you do to prepare for important championships. Melissa Jefferson on the women's side is the standard right now. A lot of people are around, youngsters coming everywhere, but we'll see what happens there. I'll get back to some comments because it's always good to hear what you guys are saying. Give me a second. I'll motor back on the comments in a second. Objectively looks like he's gone, and so it ends till we meet again. Yeah, don't disappear from the channel. We'll be doing our best to put up a lot of things there and ensuring that we continue to do other sports as well. But it's been a fabulous track and field season. Yeah, I've lost my okay, I found it back again. My comments thing. So let's get back to your comments here. All in the game. With MJW, the clear number one in the camp, will be interesting to see the dynamics in that camp. To see how the dynamics in that camp changes with Shakari. It's a very interesting thing. I would say, and let's be honest, because she's been open about it in some ways, it's not a good season for Shakari in the context of what happened off the track, right? Again, there is a big legal thing over our head, and another controversy that probably she wouldn't have wanted. She had some on the track issues too in terms of injury, but she gets here and she picks up a 4x1 medal. Perhaps that's something, a gold medal like that too. Perhaps that's something that will give her some hope moving forward. But if we're doing it from a pure power position inside of that track setting, MJW is the top class athlete there in many ways, in everything. Fast over 100, also a title, a 200 title that I don't think Richards could approach under any circumstance. So there is that. I don't know what's happening there. I don't know if there's going to be jostling for more time, for how things shape up. We will see. But from a Sha'Carri's perspective, Richardson's perspective, she needs to sort her situation out if she's gonna finish her career in the way she might want. Right. Let's see. I get back to some comments here. I think third leg for 4x1 was careful on the curve, especially in the rain. For who? For Jamaica? For the US? Give me some more details there. Mr. Roosmith says, I smell a modern Balco system on the rise. Where are you smelling that? I don't know where you're smelling that. Wolves says MJW did well. She certainly did. It was her championship on the sprint side. Trevor says, I thought GB would medal because of the rain. I thought they would be in their element. LOL. No, in fairness, All in the Game said it. We have to give him his props. He's everywhere. We appreciate him on the channel. He did. He's been talking all summer about what they should do with GB, and he's been pushing that Nita shouldn't be on the thing. So if anybody needs to get a consultation with Team GB, it seems to be him. Yeah. Jared says, no, I'll probably run 8.5 on the split. I don't know. I think it's going to be deceptive anyway. Jared said, I slept through the 4x4 final. Did Wade really run as fast as people are saying? Wade ran a superb leg. He put in the work. I don't know how fast he ran on the leg. I haven't been checking anything. I think earlier someone said the splits for him it wasn't up, but Wade did well. The South Africans were really good. Yeah. You're right here. You did say the last life I said she was doing a quiet work. If we were paying attention from our college track days, she wasn't always one to watch. I think her attitude also is a massive part of our success. It is. I think Melissa Jefferson's, and I have no issues with her. I think I like her a lot. I think she embodies things that you admire, right? From what you can see. And she takes her stuff seriously. She works hard. She gets the job done. And this has been her year. And she gets to defend her titles in some years to come. Next year, it's an off year and Ultimate Championships. I'm sure she'll participate. We'll see what we see, but she gets to put her feet up and sit down and think about what you do in the next championship and going into the LA Olympic Games, a home Olympics for the Americans, and you would think she would think that this is the place for her to go do something extraordinary special. That's the only thought process there. At the right age, getting into her prime and maintaining that for some years. That's the only objective. And the only thing that could potentially derail that is injury. And you hope that doesn't happen to people. No one wishes that. That's one way of thinking about it. It could also be derailed by other athletes coming up. This is how sport works. You'll get the rise of other athletes. Everyone will be looking to take her off the top of the mountaintop, right? She gets to get up there and she's hanging out, but how she responds to that is a mark of champions, right? Getting to the top is good. Staying at the top is another story. But I have no doubt she'll put the right things together and continue to try and dominate, right? That's my thoughts on it. Who knows, you know. Yeah, I'll get back to your comments. Appreciate them coming through. She seems to be, Wolf says, she seems to be humble, hungry, and hardworking. Yeah, those are the three H's that I like. Paulette says, well done, Shelley. You bowed out in fine style. We love you. All the best in your endeavors. Walk good. Yeah, the traditional walk good phrase. It's the term of endearment. It's to mean well. Yeah, she graced the sport in Osaka in 2007, and she leaves in Tokyo in 2025. When athletes in any sport come out and they experience the professional life, they all want to win. A certain part of them want to have longevity, and they all want to leave a legacy. Many don't get that opportunity. And Shelley Fraser Price, she's won a lot. A lot. She's made life difficult for a lot of people. And she's had a very long career, an unmatched one in many ways in terms of how long she managed to stay at her very best and winning at age levels that often asks us to rethink what greatness might look like. And legacy she certainly has secured. There's nothing more to be said than to say thank you to her. The superlatives are often not enough. Yeah. And may her influence on the sport be present right away. I don't know what she'll do, but hopefully she is actively involved in the sport, because I think there's a lot that she can do. But for now, maybe it's time to take a break and do family, as she often wants to do, and she talked about it in the last few years, feeling as if she's not doing the things that she wants because the sport demands so much. But she's been a constant and a standard bearer. I don't have much more words. I know this is inelegant of me to say it that way, and I should have been better prepared to deliver something for Shelley Fraser Price. But I will still have time. I'll still think through it. Yeah. Continuing on the comments, all in the game. Once Nita got ran down in the semis by Germany, coach should have adapted his order, but instead left the same. Got run down by Germany again. It is. Anika is there. Good morning. Proud of the ladies. She's hitting up the Woolmary and I guess is that from Wolmer's the twin turbos. Congratulations to Team Jamaica, inspired by Shelley's leg. Yeah, the grace that is on Shakara's life. Her controversies are being. I mean, yeah, who knows? I mean, Shakari is when I see talent, I want them to succeed. I look at across all sport. I remember a kid out of the Manchester United Academy, Ravel Morrison. He never took off the way he should have. There's all these different, you can point to different things. You just want people to deliver. I mean, Shakara's had a lot of success now. She's a world champion. She's been on the Olympic podium. She won a bunch of relays. So it's not like it's a bad situation, but it could have been better. Yeah. All in the game is confirming Wade split 43-2, Nene 43-9. No, Wade was outstanding, I thought. Thanks for putting that. Anika says, thank you, Tokyo, for restoring Jamaica's mojo after Paris. The smiles, confidence, the joy is back in the team. No, it is. And if you think about the context of Jamaica, if we can opine on it a bit, it's not without issues, right? World Relays, again, didn't come out the way you wanted. The inquest from the previous World Relays, we still hadn't seen the report. And there was supposed to be a report. The standoff where And let's not forget, there's athletes that could have been challenging for medals that are no longer wanting to represent the country for different reasons. Well, for one reason in particular, I suspect. But could that have been addressed? It's possible. I saw a report yesterday about World Athletics are now in the process of reviewing the transfer policy. I suspect that won't necessarily impact the current transfers, but maybe in the future. So there's a lot of interesting things. There's been constant questions about the administration. There's been questions about rifts here and there. But to get back, what was it, 10 medals? I'm suspect they'll be happy they'll take that. And there's a lot of bright sparks that didn't medal that I would look at it and say it's been tremendous. What Navasky Anderson managed to do yesterday in the 800-meter final should not go unnoticed. Man, PBs back-to-back breaking national records, and we have a couple Jamaican men now in under 144 seconds. But I also thought Anderson was very brave because he could have ran that race in a cooler fashion and not try to push, but he put himself in a position to be there with the class of the field. He's not at that level, but it's not a indictment on his ability. You just don't get to be the level of a Marco Rupp or a Sejati, and certainly not an Emmanuel Wanyoni. And when you look at the other athletes there, left, right, and center, it's a different class. But to get a Jamaican into an 800-meter final, that is big deal. That's probably one of the biggest things that you would see come out of the championship. I know it doesn't stack up to medals or anything of that sort, but you hope it inspires a generation. And as many people have been saying, I think All in the Game says this a lot. I think Leighton, when he comes on the live, when we do lives together, he talks about all those slow guys need to move up to the 800 meters. There's a space there. Big Boy was on the cusp of doing something and he didn't quite do it. There's a lot of things to take heart. Let's go back to the comments because I'm talking a lot. MJW looking like female athlete of the year. I have to think about that. Possibly. Is there anything else to? I mean, Sid could make a claim for that too. I mean, I know it's only one individual, but it's a significant one. Is there anything on the road? The road is always a place. Well, I guess the road is they've broken up the way in which to deliver this now, so there's different spaces to think through. Jeff says the Jamaica has a Commonwealth Games this year. Yeah, people go to Glasgow next year. I don't know. Commonwealth Games is always one of those iffy things, but it'll be interesting. I don't know what will happen. Yeah. Trevor says, is it appropriate to call 26 an off year with the new World Athletics Games coming in? Yeah, I shouldn't say it that way, but it's not technically an off year. It's because Ultimate Championships coming. Yeah, there's some regional stuff. There's the Commonwealth Games for sure. But let's be real, athletes sometimes, not all the athletes take the Commonwealth stuff as seriously as they should. But it's also an opportunity to give people who may be on the cusp of teams to get experience, win something. And sometimes the big athletes do show up. So I'm all for it. The Ultimate Championships thing is new. It's going to be an interesting event. I like it. It could be the future of what a jam-packed athletic season might look like. To sell for a great television audience. I think it's slated to work well for TV audiences. You buy a nice sports package, it might work well for broadcasters. I think it's been in consultation with that, from what I understand, in terms of how they are structuring things. Not every event will be there, but it's semis and finals. But it certainly should have a lot of high-class athletes if they do decide to show up, because the athletes that have entry into it are your Olympic champions, your Diamond League champions, your world champions. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be in Budapest. It should be good. Yeah. Uh, okay, all in the game says Beatrice Chibet, 5K 10 double plus a world record being positioned. That is true. That is very true. Female athlete of the year. She's arguably should have gotten it last year too. Good point. Yeah, Chibet breaks the world record there. That's a substantial run too. Yeah, she's in the mix. I'm sure they put Faith in the mix as well. Chibet probably, more titles there for sure, but Faith was on a whole lot of thing. Paulette says USA, then Canada. Ah, you meant in a 4x1. Who said he wanted a major world athletics every year? You mean who's come? You mean Cole? Probably Cole. You mean Cole, what? Isn't this last year of Seb Cole's reign too? Is it? Is it? When does he? When does his Timex go? I think it's now. Yeah. Will say she's a professional pro athlete. How she carries herself off the track, press conference, performance, and posture. I may have. If forgive me if I'm not following all the lines sometimes because I'm missing stuff. Jared, how do you cancel? How do I cancel my Peacock subscription? Just go in there and cancel it. Go in your account and hit cancel or so. I'm sure they're gonna say not so fast, and they'll give you a $2.99 for 6 months. Wolves and said run good Shelly. Okay, that's an inside comment there. Trevor has a TVJ Sports to. I may have missed that. Maybe you have to do it again. Trevor says it's not the Commonwealth is not important. There'll be some athletes that show up in. Is it in Scotland? Is in Glasgow, right? Track for All says what happened to Jackson on the women's 4x1. I think that the suspicion is that she's a bit hurt, so we'll see. All in the Game says Ultimate Champs will be in just 3 days, offering 150K prize money compared to 70 for normal world champs will attract plenty of people. I think it will. I like it. I'm looking forward to it. It's tight. It could be. I don't know if it's going to be a game changer for the casual track and field fan. Ultimately, what the sport of track and field needs is not you guys, because you guys are hardcore. You guys are. We watch anything. I tell you, I would stop my car and see two people racing on the street just for fun. That you don't have to sell me track and field, right? You want fans who are Olympic fans, they only watch every 4 years, to be much more engaged. If those people start to be more engaged and want to consume the product, then and only then the money will trickle down even more to the athletes. It will become a bigger sporting spectacle. So I really have high hopes for it. The same way I had high hopes for Grand Slam, even though people thought I was on the hate thing from early. I wasn't. I was just pointing out challenges that I saw before the meets happened. And I got a lot of emails, and well, I don't you wouldn't see the email part, but a lot of people are saying that's some interesting stuff on the channel too. Like, in the end, it came out the way I thought it would, and which is never good, because if you predict bad stuff, you don't necessarily want it to happen. So I hope the Ultimate Championships work, and I hope fans will gravitate to it. I hope they have some interesting media coverage of that, and people can buy into it. We'll see. I appreciate you for saying that, Drew Ross. Always hanging out with you guys. It's watch alongs are never easy because some people want you to show the stuff, but I can't do that. That's not a good thing. But I'm happy that people are watching and hanging out and talking, and we chop it up. Well, so I don't remember watching a championships where across the individual disciplines athletes were PB in championship records, national records, season besting in the same event, even up to sixth place. I don't want to comment on that because you might be right, but because recency bias is easy, you forget a lot of things as I get older too. I don't remember half the stuff I want to say, but it's been a fabulous championships. Look, what we have said, especially in the 800, when you go back and look at what happened in 800 today, like 156 all over the park, 157. The 800 in particular is, and both men and women have gone in interesting ways. A lot of people are attributing that to bicarb and all that kind of stuff. It probably possibly is true. It's interesting. There's a lot of important performances. Spikes are getting better. Running shoes are getting better on the road. The tracks have improved. There's all these minor stuff that comes up. The gels are better. The sports science gets better. The individualization part of it is important too. The monitoring, all of that. They're tinkering a lot. People have all these models floating around. And then there are people who don't go deep in the sports science the same way, and they're still managing to win as well. So who knows? I suspect we'll continue to see boundaries in the sport of track and field, particularly on the women's side as well. There's a lot of catching up to be done just by the historical legacy of the sport in terms of women being out of certain events. And so that part I'm not shocked by. And then there's a lot of records on the books that it's only taking 40 years now for cleaner athletes to start catching up to them. So we'll wait to see. Happy you got to cancel it, Jared. Trevor says, I think Shelley would make a great world athletics president. I don't know. That's a job that I don't wish on anybody. It's a hard job being a world president. I'm not sure. I think I think Shelley could lend a lot of experience. That's a hard place to be in. I don't know what she wants to do. I think athlete relations would be important. Getting her in that advisory board would be a place to be first. Yeah. All in the game. To Wade, a 43-2 split means you need to give the 400 one more shot. Yeah, we should. I wholeheartedly support that comment. I have often said that Wade should never go down to the 200. I don't understand the flirting with the 200, especially when I think he's still good enough to do well. The training is hard, but it's also not as explosive as trying to sprint. So we'll see. Wolf says, time-wise, this championships, the athletes stun themselves all around. So many PBs, national records without a medal. It happens. And I think we will only improve as the future is ending championships at this time of the year. So after Diamond Leagues. So coaches will continue to figure this out. They'll improve upon this. But we got great performances in Doha, and I think all in the game. You're the one who pointed this out maybe last year when we were talking about this, or the year before, that ending the championships in September would still see stunning performances, because there's always the notion, will the athletes be burnt out? But it's just how they do the training. Yeah. Trevor says he's right. I don't know who's he. I missed that. All in the game is saying, have to give serious credit to Kenyan women sweeping everything from 800 to marathon. Yeah, flowers to them. Shout out to the Kenyans. They did well. Yeah, give them yeah. Back to the comments. Average Joe is saying USA Botswana looks like a rivalry for years to come. It certainly looks that way. You hope. I like it. I really like it. I hope the Botswanan start to bring through a lot more athletes too. There must be a lot of motivation there to see what happened there. That's probably national type of stuff. You remember when Let Sealy went home last year, packed out stadium. It was like a mob. Everybody everywhere. There's a bunch of athletes that can go back home. They have a lot. And it's good. It's good. I hope this rivalry, South Africa too, they'll be in the mix. So this is, I think world records are going to go eventually if they can get this right. I hope the Jamaicans are watching and overall their 400-meter programs everywhere, but that's a different thing. Track for All agrees with All in the Game about Wade. Yeah, don't we? All in the Game says, excluding Bolt, Bekele, Beatrice Tribet is the only athlete to hold both Olympic/World Championship titles and world records in 2 different events, 5 and 10 at the same time. So interesting. That's a rarefied air there. Thanks for sharing. That's rarefied air. Kenelisa Bekele, one of the all-time greats, if not the greatest. People can argue in this. You say no one is arguing around that one right now, at least not seriously. And so for Chebet to be there, and I like many, I had reevaluated my position on Beatrice in the sense that after I saw Faith in the 3,000 meters, I wasn't sure if she could outkick, if Beatrice could outkick Faith last night, and it happened. And especially when it was that close. So shout out to Beatrice. She's absolutely phenomenal too. Yeah. Trevor says, I just want Jamaica to start taking the 400 and 200 as seriously as the 100. Yeah, the 400 for sure. The Brian level coming on. We need more women in the 200 as well. Yeah. Marsh says, big deal that in I hope maybe I don't know what context is that in, but thanks for saying that. All in the game. I want to see Botswana produce more female athletes like now in the 800 who has a good season. Yeah, I think it will come. I don't know everything about the Botswanan setup. It's worth investigating. But they have some good stuff there and good athletes. The talent is there. We'll see. It would have been interesting to see what previous athletes 30 to 50 plus years prior before would do, albeit they had the tech and infrastructure these have now. No, it is. That's the difficulty with comparing across eras, right? You think about cinder tracks or dirt tracks before cinder, and even when they went to synthetic tracks, those were bouncy at first. The energy return was poor. Yeah, athletes who were part timers, working a job and then still training, and even just the understanding of coaching evolves over time. Yeah, we'll never know the answer to those things. That's why sometimes it makes better sense to appreciate greatness in the era it happened, because to compare across is often difficult. What I will say, and I firmly believe this, is that the athletes who are the standout athletes in any era, I suspect they will be very competitive regardless. So when you point the very best, if you gave them things in the era of the very best that we have now, I suspect they'll be more than fine. And then you also have to remember that people who come after, they benefit from what happened before, right? So it's interesting. Trevor says, I feel great about the vast improvements in African showings, Ghana, Zambia, Botswana, South Africa, especially. Yeah, you have to think there. Look at what happened in the men's 100-meter final too. There's a bunch of Ghanaians there. The Ivory Coast should never be discounted. They've been a trailblazer for a while too, particularly in the women's side. Obviously, they have men like Cece and all those guys in the past. So I think Africa as a continent is a place where track and field can thrive, and with better setups and infrastructure and coaching and youth programs overall. I think the African country that I think could dominate track and field, but they don't have a proper structure, is Nigeria. They've also produced a lot of great athletes too, but in a context that is nowhere as good as unearthing youth, because you have to get them when they're young and then hopefully they transition. And I think an overall I know they've been working on overhauling their youth development stuff in Nigeria. I think at one point they were looking at the Jamaican model, and I think I'd spoken to some guys and I was like, that's not the model you want to look at. You probably want to look at more of a US model, because the country is much bigger, right? So you want to, yeah. But anyway, that's a different thing. Nevada says, for Ultimate Championships, how are the athletes selection made? Is it by country? It's we can pop that up at some point, but they're getting back the World Championships. The World Champions get in the Olympic. I think it's the last. Is it the last two Olympics get in? Right. I don't remember now off the top of my head. I did remember. Read it some months ago. I feel like I would have to look at it to make sure I don't make mistakes. But the Diamond League winners would also get buys too. So, and I think it's ranking too. If I don't remember, someone would post it in the comments. I'm sure All in the Game might give you the answer soon. Trevor says Zimbabweans too. Yeah, they're there too. Yeah. See, okay, All in the Game has by world rankings have to be top 16 in your event. Yeah. Average says Jamaica got silver in 4x4. Got Jamaica women got silver in 4x4. Men need to step up. Okay. Yeah. There's deficit there that they need to work on. Trevor says, I'm sure they'll have what's I maybe I'm missing what that's saying. All in the Game says want to see Netherlands move their tall 200 sprinter. Oh, Jaya, she's good. Yeah, up to 400, like they did with Clava to try to produce a third sub 50 quarter miler to make the 4x4 as interesting as possible. Yeah, they need to do something there too. We'll see. Trevor says his first synthetic track was in Guadalupe for Carifta. It's back in the day then, Trevor. All in the Game. Nigeria has so much talent, but woeful administration. Yeah, the administration in Nigeria is elite for being bad. If I can say it that way, it's a mess. Yeah, I can't put that on the screen, Trevor. Come on, no, come on. That's a bit harsh. Yeah, cool. Now this has been a wonderful championships. You know, we can't do that, Trevor. That you're going out. You're going a bit too far there. You're gonna get into trouble. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta get my friend Deja on at some point. He who covers Nigerian sports. We can talk about all of that stuff. Yeah. Uh, um. Yeah. Sports Talk Tech does not endorse that comment from Trevor. That's only on him. Yeah. Navarre is thanking All in the Game. Yeah, it's been great. It's been a championship for the ages. Uh, Now we sit and watch. We want to see how many. When is Atlas? It's in November. It's in October, right? When is the Atlas event? That's gonna be interesting. I hope that works. It's gonna be October 10th. Tickets are available. I wish I could go to that, but I don't think I'll be in the country. Let's see. I can't go to Atlas. Yeah, because I'll be. Can I? No. No, I'll be here, but I know I can't go to that because I have a thing the weekend after. But that would be an interesting thing to see. I hope that works out as well because we saw it last year. I think they're moving to hopefully starting a women's league. I think there's a lot of it's going to be an Icon Stadium for sure in New York. Yeah, I hope they have the track fixed because they did fix part of it, right? I hope they need to relay that track. I don't know if they did, but I want it to work because I think not only for we shouldn't. I want to look at it in a different context, not necessarily what it's going to deliver with the women that are involved right now, but I'm thinking about it from a standpoint of getting a next set of youngsters into the sport of track and field. Last time I saw it, the way they did it was kind of interesting, but I don't want it to fit what I think is a perfect way to produce track and field content. I need them to do it in a way that will still make us watch. I can watch it with the TV volume off. I don't need to hear them comment on it. I just watch the performance, but I want them to do it so it inspires a generation. So I hope it works. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. I'm missing out some comments here. Dynamic says it would have been perfect if Noah lost the 200 and a 4x1. You guys are joke. You always have the joke. Yeah. So it's top 16 gets an invite plus buys are giving to the reigning Diamond League World and Olympic champs. Yeah. So it should give high quality competition in the Ultimate next year. Paulette says, all I can say is the Jamaican relay coach should be looked into replace them. Yeah, it is in Icon Stadium. All in the game says people need to get. Trevor says, yeah, it is in Icon, Trevor. You're right. People need to get behind Atlas so it can keep expanding and take the role vacated by GST. Yeah, because I don't think GST is coming back. There's no way it's coming back. There's no money to be had, and I'll be shocked if it came back. Dynamics is they need to redo the whole stadium, make it world class, so everything isn't in Eugene all the time. Would make it easier for track fans to travel to. I agree. I think there's some places where it would be good to have stuff again. Back in the day, they used to have things in Indianapolis too, because USA Track and Field is in Indianapolis. They haven't had a championships there since I don't know when. Maybe is it 05, 06 or something? No, or 07 or so. I can't recall. Everything now is in Tracktown, USA. The facilities are there, but it's a hard place to travel. It's difficult for the athletes themselves too to get to USA Championships. It's expensive. Eugene is a college town. It's not a lot of stuff there. Atlanta could work. The South could work for sure. New York, NYC clearly can work too. LA, your big hubs. Move it around. I don't know. Yeah. October, cooler temperatures. Yeah, but it may not be. I don't know what we'll see. It could be cooler temperatures. It could also be warm. You never know. All in the Game says has changed our team format for next year and will keep expanding if people get behind. No, it is interesting. I like this team thing. I think it could work. I believe, some track clubs are huge. You could have an interesting track club. I want to see track clubs go out again and compete. That would be neat at the big levels, especially in some relay stuff. It's hard to pull that off, but it's not impossible either. Yeah, Trevor is eager to see what Atlas will do. I don't know if he'll put money into it, Trevor, to be honest with you. I don't know. He's doing his own thing. I'm not sure why he would, Virginia says, and we have the Franklin Field in Philly where Penry. Yeah, Franklin Field. I just don't like Franklin Field's track, right? I think it's a wonky track. It won't change. It can't change unless they knock the stadium down, and they're not interested in doing that. So it's always weird to watch events on Franklin Field's track. But that's also a place you could do an event, but it's I don't like Franklin Field as a track, as a spectacle. Yeah, as a spectacle it can work, but I don't know. Yeah. Rachel says 3 out of 4 not bad. USA, congrats Botswana. Yeah, the USA did well. They did. She's also complaining about too much rain. It happens, right? It's one of those challenges. We'll see. We'll hear the inquest afterwards, what people have to say about the championships themselves. There are some complaints about where the warm-up track is, but from a stadium perspective, it's good. It's the Olympic Stadium. It's a good track. It hardly has been used. It's the same track from Mondo laid down in time for the Tokyo Olympic Games. At that point, that was the best track they claimed. Obviously, the Paris one they say is better now, so who knows? Chris says the baton exchanges are the best baton exchanges I've ever seen were made by the Jamaica under 20 girls in the 2 world records. Why are the senior men and women so much worse? Don't know if I have a straightforward answer to that. Yesterday on the live, I think I was talking a bit about a number of things, and I think some people are chiming in, including All in the Game. I think he was here. There are issues when you're for some countries when it comes to the relays. If you have an overabundance of talent and people can change a lot, you end up in a situation where you just never know who might make the talent pool. I always say you need a lot of relay camps for different reasons. You can have camps and still be unsuccessful because at the end of the day, there's pressure, there's baton exchanges, difficulties can happen, mistakes. You make mistakes in the sprint relays, it's unforgivable. You exchange out the zone or you don't exchange at all, stuff happens. But beside that, you need a lot of camp. I think camp does more things than people anticipate. I think it builds camaraderie. It builds a sense of, it's also nation building in a sense. It might be small level of nation building, but for nationalism mostly, rather, from the context of the athletes. Because track and field is an individual sport for most of it. The relay stuff is only when you start to get together. So you want to build that, people build up different adversarial things. The more camps you have, and I'm talking about just kind of team building, getting to know each other. I think yesterday I was on a call with someone and I was saying, look, it's even beyond, having them come together and just only practicing stuff. It's also for them to kind of learn a little bit about each other. This is where the athlete management and the athlete relations aspect of administrations are important, because for most of the time when athletes are competing, they're just suiting up in their sponsor's outfit, right? They're running for themselves if they have sponsors. And there's this few part-time, every 4 years they're lining up for the country, or every 2 years, or however it works. You have to have a system in place to make them feel like it's important to show up for national duty. So I fundamentally think you need a lot of camp, and it's beyond just to always just passing exchanges. It's to the athletes to get comfortable with each other. And because there's so much politics in relays, because the individual coaches get involved all the time and they run them out all over the world. It's not a new thing. To be the head coach of a relay stuff is almost ambassadorial type stuff. It's almost like ombudsman like role or whatever. I don't know if that's the right way to think about it. It's no one wants that job. So they need to work on that. And even when teams are successful, they still need to work on it. So I don't really know how to give you a perfect answer on that, Chris. I don't know if I went rambling there, but we'll see. Congrats, Jamaica women's 4x1, Rachel says. Oh yeah, I watched that. I didn't watch it this morning. I saw the results when I got it. In fact, I got a clip from a friend of mine that's at the Berlin Marathon before I got live, and she sent me a nice little video of it. So I didn't get a chance. That's the only kind of clip I saw, but I saw that Sawe and Wanjiri won the Berlin Marathon. So the Kenyans they're having a day, man. They're having a day, and it was a really quick time too. If my memory, when I looked at the results, it's outside of it, Kipchoge's record, but it's really creditable performance for the marathon there. Wolf says, though we didn't win, Janelle really hawked down Shakara in the 4x1. The only other time I've seen a hawk down like that was Shelley versus Darren Nita at the 2019 London Diamond League 4x1. Yeah, Smith on the anchor was very good. Very, very good. Credit to those women. Better exchanges, and we might be looking at a different way the medals goes. But when we say better exchanges, it's like giving an out. Good exchanges is what is required to be to be successful in the relays. And when you're up against equally matched teams or teams that might be better to from a standpoint of having really good runners, then you can't botch the passes. You have to do them well. And we've seen a number of occasions teams that don't have any athletes that could even make it anywhere close to big finals. And with superb passing, they're also finding their way in interesting positions on relay podiums or finishing ahead of teams that you wouldn't say they're capable of doing normally. Yeah. Uh, Trevor says, I don't know if we should be necessarily trashing relay coaches. So many variables can go wrong in the heat of battle, adrenaline, all of that. Yeah, it is that too. I mean, I think people go out there and prepare well, but at the end of the day, the athletes have to be uh, ready to do that. Where I would say is that sometimes where the coaching element comes in, obviously from outside of finding technical issues and making sure athletes are doing the right thing, it's also maybe kind of assessing whether their lineup is the right lineup or how they should actually do the lineup to be competitive. So we'll see. All in the game says, I thought GB 4x1 was leading after second leg, but were third by the end of the third leg and fourth by the end. You have to go look at it again. Yeah, they would be. I think Team GB would be disappointed because they would come to this championship thinking that even if they didn't win any of these, they would have been on the podium for most of them, and that didn't happen. So they're going to look into that, I imagine. Eric says we could have won easily. Paulette says continue making the same mistakes. What happens to Sharika? I don't have an official answer on that. The thing I got was that there might be a slight niggle. I don't know, but I don't know for sure. Nevada says relay training camp would be easier. Jamaica would be easy, or Jamaica. I guess in Jamaica, you're saying because most of their sprinters train in Jamaica. USA would be harder due to the vast amount of training camps and coaches. Yeah, but they also have more resources too, so they can do a little thing here and there. They've done that, and athletes show up for the camp. You could also change your policy on it that you have to be in the pool some way. So if you don't come to these things, you might not necessarily make it in it. I don't know how much of a policy you want to change like that. That could go to your detriment in some ways. But if you're paying for them to come out, it's possible. You line these things up early and you try to get them in different times. It's not impossible. It requires athlete management. Yeah. With our number of silvers means we are not fine tuned. I don't know. I mean, I think Jamaica performed well here at these championships. It could have gone a little bit better, but it could also be much worse. So who knows, right? I thought Jordan Scott could have been on the podium too. It didn't happen. He had a great season. Many people thought Ralph Mullins would be ready. Well, yeah, he didn't make it in the final. Yeah, I also think in the upgrades category too, things went in your favor because I fit Julian Alfred, and I don't think we're looking at silver, right? Uh, so it's one of those type of things, right? Who who knows? I didn't think Big Boy would run this well too, and in the end, he didn't pull off the way he wanted to. He could have, if he ran much better in the final. Who knows what would have happened? The word was he was in sub 44 shape. It looked that way, just didn't execute the way Frano wanted him to as well. So it's interesting. Trevor says he's also thrilled at misfortune. Discuss about to resume. Are they showing it on TV? I don't. Let me see if I can get back up. If there's a stream on Peacock for it, or if it's gone. Uh, oh, yeah, it is live. Let's get it back up. All in the game. GB women were winning 21-22 by the end of the second leg to USA 21-31. but two slow legs by Desiree and Daryl and Ford cost them dearly. It kind of looked that way. And I don't know. I don't understand what happened with Nita, but maybe they just like stick to stuff. We stick to what we know. I can't explain that, to be honest with you. Eric says we have the talent. We need to be more organized. Organization matters. You have to up your game on that stuff. I think I'm not in a position to say or so, but you might want to overhaul the sports infrastructure around track and field in Jamaica. That's something that you should do. Move to some models where you hire a CEO, models where you have uh, a designated professional team that's on the athletes management side. I would definitely hire somebody who does contracts and negotiations at the highest level to ensure that you can eke out as much money as you can, because getting money in track is hard. So you capitalize on when you are doing well. That's how I would say it. Who knows? And yeah, and then have like a board structure with, because a lot of that stuff looks voluntary work. So those people still involved, but you need better structure. Yeah. But that's a different story. Trevor says huge medal Ireland. The supposed choker scored the only gold medal for Jamaica. I don't know. It's one of those things. I'm thankful for Bleakman. I think he delivered. This may be the defining moment of his career. We'll have to wait and see, but it certainly is a standout moment. And if he can continue on this, you just never know what will happen. Paulette is agreeing. Choke is an American word, so we know what you're mostly saying. Yeah. So yeah, it's been one of those things. It's getting close to 3 hours. It's after 9 my time now. I gotta make a coffee again and see what's happening. It's been my pleasure, guys. We'll do a recap. I think Leighton wanted to do another live together, so I don't think it's happening today. I'll probably push for it to tomorrow, but we put it out in advance. We let you guys know when we next come live. And thanks again for supporting. Great to have you guys hang out. And yeah, it's been wonderful championships. We'll see you guys soon. And yeah, I guess Trevor said he never meant it. Yeah, I know what you meant. I guess everybody knows what you meant. All right, have a great rest of you guys Sunday. Hopefully you will find something to do and maybe get some rest for those of you who've been getting up super early or staying up super late to watch these championships. It's been my pleasure. I'll see you guys. Bye-bye.